Hi there, it's Roy from Sulphur Sabers. What we'll be looking at today is the Defender V2 model from our very cool A series from Sabers. Sabers are a very talented saber designer based in Australia, and currently only operate in Australia. They don't ship internationally, but because I get on particularly well with the owner, and we're just over the ditch in New Zealand, I'm pleased to say that we recently struck up an arrangement that we would resell the Sabers in New Zealand as well, so the more of the Australasia region can benefit from these beautiful designs. So like I said, we're looking at the Defender V2 today, and it's a very cool little hilt. So you can see it has elements of thin neck without being a thin neck. It's got the very Star Wars-y angled emitter that is kind of inherited from the on-screen sabers, but it all comes in a more usable form. So even though it's got those design elements taken from the screen, it's a much more usable saber. Okay, so it's incredibly well balanced, really nice. It would make a great jeweler, as well as just a great cosplay or design piece. It's got a nice little bit of heft to it, but it's not overly weighty. Very well balanced, actually. It's a really cool model. So let's have a look. Let's break it down. And of course, this comes with the bracelet installed that you'd use for dueling, and the NeoPixel, which are more suited to cosplay and choreography and so let's see how this one breaks down. So what we have there is the big old piece that we have here. That's as far as I can tell, a solid piece. Then the saber thus breaks down into the pommel and the textured grip section. It's good that the textured grip section is actually quite grippy. It has these raised detailing on the grip. Okay, so this is the bracelet model. So at the time of recording, the Xeno 3 does not come with an SD card as standard, so it just has the 16 sound fonts that are pre-coded onto the board. Manufacturer has a chance of changing the specs, so it has a history of changing specs occasionally, so just check the product details just to see if any of that information has changed. You can of course add an optional SD card in there as well, which will allow you to add extra fonts and play around with the config a little bit. There are some features in the manual that you can only turn on by inserting an SD card and turning it on within the config. That's if you really want to explore, but the standard firmware flash on these boards and the features on these boards pretty much cover most of the common features that you'll find on a saber anyway. The SD card is just really for those people that want to tweak a little bit. Okay, let's pop this back together. So there's no CoverTech hole on this one, so you're not going to be able to add a CoverTech knob, so there's no option for having this as a belt hanger. So this is something that's going to have to be wielded. So we obviously we thought the recharge slot was just inside there on the chassis as well. It has a really nice single switch with this very pleasant motif design on there. And this is a decorative screw at the top there. That's not a blade retention screw. Your blade retention screws are these two on the back. Also a bit further down the body you have the chassis retention screw, which is this one just here, and this M4 bolt. It's a slightly longer bolt that pushes the switch assembly up into its recess, just up there on the main body. Like I said, it comes in RGB for jewelers. You've also got the pixel versions as well, and will eventually be covering the Xeno 3 install model, as well as the Profi cores as well. That's what it looks like in the hand. You could actually drop it quite nicely for two-handed use. The raised little switch there does not get in the way at all. So it's not a small hilt, it's just a good average sized, very well designed, very well balanced hilt, which would be, like I said, great for jewelers in an RGB bracelet version, or someone that just wants something, a really nice model for cosplay or choreography or something like that. Okay, so there it is, the Defender V2. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the through on a support request or just an email. We'll get back to you straight away. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.